Hello you guys, James Charles here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's YouTube video, we're about to get into some trouble by breaking every single makeup rule. Now I know that everybody watching me has a different level of makeup artistry. Some of you guys are pro artists, some of you guys are kind of beginner makeup artists, and some of you guys don't even wear makeup at all. You're just here for the fun videos. And I appreciate each and every single one of you just as much, but I know that you guys watch makeup content and it's no secret that when you're learning makeup, we're kind of taught these like makeup rules, such as not to prime is a crime, always match your foundation to your neck, don't put liquids or creams over top of powders, stuff like that. But in today's video, we're gonna be breaking every single makeup rule humanly possible, and we're gonna try to see if I can actually still put together a good makeup routine, because some rules are meant to be broken. Let's get right into it. All right, you guys, I'm a little bit nervous for today's video. Growing up, I was always the kid who followed the rules and followed the directions in school, so I don't really know how I feel about breaking these rules today, but at the end of the day, makeup obviously has no rules, and we're gonna make this as fun as possible and cross our fingers that we get a good look by the end of this. So if you're excited for today's video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. Of course, hit that subscribe button so you can join the family, and let's get right into this. So I posted on my Instagram story asking you guys what rules that you've heard while learning makeup that should never be broken, and I picked a ton of my favorites for every single step of the routine, so let's just jump right into it. So the first rule of makeup that was submitted to my DMs that we will definitely be breaking today and every other day is that boys shouldn't wear makeup. True. Homosexuals. I don't know who made that rule, but they're a loser, and we're gonna keep breaking it every single time that we get ready. Now, the first actual rule that was submitted to my DMs today from IDSM says that you shouldn't put anything on your face before primer. And I've actually heard this a couple of times before, and I always break this rule anyway, so this one's gonna be pretty easy. I think it's very important to do skincare before you actually put on any primer in the first place. So I'm just gonna go in with my $100 La Mer moisturizer. You know, if we're gonna break a rule, might as well do it in style. Now, the next makeup rule was probably the one that I got the most amount of submissions of, and it is, not to prime is a crime, the quote by the queen herself, Miss Nikki Tutorials. Now, she always says this in her YouTube videos while she puts on her different primers.
Not to prime is a crime.
But I guess today, according to her rule, we're gonna have to skip it all together, which actually really sucks because I need this makeup to last. I have a dinner to go to tonight and my friend's album release party, so I'm gonna have to wear this makeup. It's currently 12:55 p.m. in the afternoon. This needs to stay on until literally 10 p.m. tonight. So not priming, ooh, this is not good. This is really not good. We're off to a bad start. The next makeup rule, and honestly, I feel partially responsible for this one, is that foundation always has to come first. And we're about to break that right now by starting off with my eyebrows. Now, you guys know I don't really love doing this, but I feel like every other makeup artist on planet Earth, except for me, does. So I'm gonna go to my Pink Honey Brow Soap, and we're just going to, you know, be an actual professional makeup artist for the day. And we're gonna do the brows first, and we'll get to foundation a little bit later on. I feel so rebellious, oh my God. All jokes aside, this really is not that deep. A ton of makeup artists love doing this. I've even done my brows first several times in videos and when just doing my makeup. It's definitely not my favorite routine. Like, I do stand behind the fact that I prefer foundation first. I just feel like it's a lot easier for myself personally, but you can make it work. Like, makeup can be done in any order. Look at how gorgeous and cunty that brow is. Why does that one not look like that? The whole point of fucking doing this is so your eyebrows look symmetrical before you even get started on the rest of your face. And they don't, so, I mean, that's my fault. This one's eating. She's gorgeous. She's hungry. She's a hungry girl and she keeps eating.
I think you're saying the trendy gay phrase, she's eating, wrong.
What? What do you, I'm so sorry. What is this accusation that's being bust?
If she ate, she's not hungry.
Yeah, she's not.
She was hungry, therefore she's eating.
So she ate.
You can say either.
No.
Even when she started eating, she was still so hungry because she kept eating.
I don't know how she was able to zip up this Versace dress because this bitch ate.
Oh, see, no, now we're good again.
That makes sense.
Now that makes sense.
Oh.
That makes total sense.
Okay, so now that the brows are on, it is time for foundation, which, once again, I just don't understand. That took me literally like 30 minutes. 30 minutes for this, when normally my brows take me 4 minutes max if I'm having a bad day. Anyway, moving on to foundation. Before I even squirt any on my actual face, there's one rule that I have in regards to a beauty sponge, and that is you should always wet your beauty blender, which personally I agree with. Who wants to be shoving a dry beauty sponge on your face? But I know a lot of y'all bitches don't wet this. Or clean it, which is nasty.
Oh, you nasty.
I'm going to follow in your footsteps today, and we're gonna use a brand new Painted by James Charles beauty sponge launching soon, and we're just gonna keep it nice and dry. Luckily, my dry beauty sponge is literally the same size as like a regular beauty blender when wet, so I think this will still work, but let's just get into it. Oh, one of the rules that I definitely got a lot was make sure your foundation matches. That is not one that I'm going to be breaking today. Sorry about that. Just using a dry sponge, and we're just gonna put this on like normal. And also another comment that I got too from Paloma was always bring the foundation down to your neck, which yes, you definitely should do. But if you get a good enough match, which honestly it looks like I did today, thank God, you can of course skip that. The whole point of bringing makeup down to your neck is so you make sure that everything kind of matches, because a lot of us, myself included, tend to have a little bit more of like a red face and then a tan neck or a lighter neck than the rest of your body. Something that I have been caught on red carpets with several times. So I definitely always blend it down there. But if you do get a good enough match, you can skip that step. So our next step, of course, we have concealer. And this next rule really pains me to break, but we're going to, and that is you should always use a lighter concealer. Now, for me, I do, because I love a very high contrast face. I like a kind of intense contour, a bright concealer, just to kind of like re-sculpt everything and look really beautiful in photos. But for today, I guess I will use a concealer that is very close to my skin tone for the sake of the rule. I'm gonna use the Shape Tape Light Medium Beige. It looks lighter on camera just because it's a wet liquid, but I promise in person, this is like the exact same color as there you go, you guys can see. This is like a very similar color to my foundation. Like I was saying earlier, I personally like to follow the lighter concealer rule when it comes to makeup because everybody has a different use for their concealer. Personally, I like to use mine as a brightener, whereas a lot of people like to use concealer as a cover-up type of product. Now, if you are dealing with acne or a breakout, using a concealer that is similar to your skin tone is definitely the right way to go about doing it, because if you use, a lighter color, it's gonna bring focus and attention to that area, which you don't want. For me personally, I don't deal with breakouts that often anymore, thank literal God, it is such a blessing. So I like to use a lighter concealer to kind of brighten the center of my face and draw attention to that. So unfortunately, we're not gonna have that today, but I still think this is looking pretty good. The next makeup rule says you should be subtle with your contour, which I definitely do agree with. I've definitely had some situations where I've gotten photographed with some crazy contour. Sometimes, this beauty lighting can be a little deceiving when you walk outside and you have the natural sunlight. Oof, they did not look the same. So I definitely have learned how to be more soft and subtle with the contour. But if I'm breaking that rule today, that means I do need to do a crazy contour. So that's great. Let's go right in. With the brows, the coverage of this foundation and this contour, it literally looks like I'm getting ready for drag, which is not a bad thing. Love it, but not exactly the look I was planning for today. I'll get ready for my performance at Hamburger Mary's later on. I'm kind of into the dry beauty blender. Like honestly, it's doing a good job. It's looking good. I feel like this looks really, really good. Let's go ahead and set this all in place. And for powder, I do have yet another rule that we need to break. And that is, I can't actually believe how many times this was submitted to me. I was actually shocked reading it. You must bake your face in order for your makeup to last all day long. Bitch, when I read that, I feel like we're being teleported back to 2016. I don't know if y'all are just like on a train that already left the station long ago, but in case y'all missed the memo, baking is no more. We're not doing that anymore. That's not the vibe. I don't like baking anymore. I don't need to bake, so we're just gonna go ahead and set our face just like normal. That's gorgeous for me. Here we go. So baking and setting are two different things. So normally when you set, you just go in and obviously use a powder to set your liquids or creams in place. But baking is then when you go in with more powder later on top of that, and you leave the powder on specific areas to help brighten and lock them in for longer. And see with my brows, look at this now. Now that, because the brows were first, now they look all ashy and gray because the powder got on top of them. Like, see how there's like that light area right underneath my brow right there? Like the line? That's not like concealer, that's the brow gel, like built up. Ew, that's nasty. All right, you guys, next up we have blush. And not only am I excited to break this rule and tell you about it, but this is also one of the most submitted DMs over and over and over again of makeup rules. And it is never put creams or liquids over top of powders. And let me tell you guys, let me just show you why that is not true, okay? So we're gonna go in with a cream blush. I will be using the Patrick Ta cream blush, is one of my favorites in the shade She's That Girl, as you guys can tell. Not a whole lot left. Okay? We're gonna go in with our powder first. And I just like to use this like shitty brush, does a gorgeous job. I'm gonna go with powder first, and we're just gonna pat that right on for a gorgeous flush of pink. I'm gonna bring this up into my temple a little bit as well, just because I do have a pinky look planned for today. Like that's looking like so stunning, right? But now we're gonna grab the cream side, just like this. And I'm gonna grab my little cream blush brush, okay? It's a Morphe X Ariel. And I'm just gonna dip in just like this and be able to grab whatever is left in this fucking thing. And I'm gonna go very gently right over top of where I just placed that powder blush, kind of focusing it on my cheekbone as well. I am going light-handed because I definitely don't want to disrupt any of the foundation or products underneath, but as you guys can see, look at that. Oh, it applies a little bit more coverage to the color, but because it's a cream on top of a powder, it also gives you that super slight like dewiness or reflectiveness from the liquid formula. Oh, it just looks so good. You guys know I don't really do highlighter that much anymore, but if you see me glowing in photos or on a red carpet, I can guarantee you it is by using this technique. It just looks so beautiful. It looks so much more natural than like a glittery, chunky, gross highlighter. I'm obsessed with doing this. It looks so beautiful on everybody. Would highly recommend. One of the other makeup rules that I saw all the time was that you should only use setting spray at the end of your makeup routine, which I have no problem breaking and I do all the time. Of course, you can use this to set your face in place, but I also love using setting sprays throughout the routine to help just kind of like melt all those powders together and look a lot more beautiful and natural on the skin, which is great today, especially after using a dry beauty sponge because no melting thus far has occurred. So a little bit of setting spray and let's move on to our next step, which just like I was mentioning earlier, is highlighter. Now, I really don't want to add any highlighter, and honestly, because of this makeup rule today that we're about to break, we might not have to. Once again, with this rule, I feel like we are being teleported back to 2016. Some of y'all need to get with the times because this rule says your highlighter must be blinding and that you should wet your brush to get the ultimate glow. Now, this used to be a thing. You guys have seen me do this in a lot of YouTube videos, but it has been years and years and years and years since I've done this technique because it's just not the most flattering. And thank God, thank literal God, we are breaking all the rules today because I don't want to fucking do that. I'm sorry. It looks ugly. This type of glow for me is really all that I need, but you know, we will still apply a little highlighter and just, you know, keep it subtle. That's fine. Just gonna grab my Anastasia X Amrezy highlighter, an ancient artifact, and we're just gonna go in very, very lightly, okay? A little bit on the chin, a little bit above the brow bone. I'm gonna be really careful to not add too much to this area because that brow gel is looking a little crusty in texture. And then I'll just do the very tippy tip of my nose and the center of the bridge as well. Very light, I'm not going too crazy, just a little radiance. That's looking beautiful. Let's move on, finally, to eyeshadow. Forget going back to 2016 for makeup techniques. This must have literally been written in like 1854 because I don't know who the fuck's brain was this delusional to actually type these words out and put it on my DMs, because this rule said, don't overdo your eyes during the daytime. Huh? It's giving, this was written by the founding fathers before women's suffrage, because what the fuck is this? Absolutely not. Let's break a rule. So I posted this photo on my Instagram a couple of weeks ago. It's like this beautiful red graphic liner look. I actually used my paints that are launching soon in the look, and I got so many DMs and so many comments from you guys asking how the heck I did it. So I thought in today's video, I would do it again, but put a different twist on it. And by the way, just wanted to give credit where credit is due. The original look was done by It's Beauty by Britt. She's so talented, and I have a fun kind of idea to reinterpret this look today. Before we even dip into an eyeshadow brush today, we have one rule that we already need to break. This suggestion is a slay, I fear. It's from Cole Gordon, and he says, the rule is to never use my painted eye paints. I guess we're gonna have to break it today. So naughty. Honestly, y'all are marketing icons and I live for it. Thank you for doing this. So we are going to go in with one of my eye paints. This is the yellow shade in the shade Caution. And I'm going to use this as a little bit of an eye base because you guys know yellow eyeshadow is not exactly the most pigmented color that they have on the market. And I want it to be bright and vivid. So we are going to just go in with a little bit on the back of my hand and a big fluffy brush. And we're just gonna use this as a little bit of a base and make my eyes yellow today. So, okay, we're just gonna go right in on the inner corner with the yellow paint. Gonna go below the eye as well. Gonna buff it up just like this. These blend out super easily, and I am so excited that you guys are excited about them as well. Don't worry, over the course of the next couple of weeks, I'll be using them in all sorts of YouTube videos and showing you guys the different ways that they can be used, and you guys will get to learn all about them before the actual launch. But as you can see, a gorgeous eye base is a very simple way to go about it. There we go. Oh, look at how bright and gorgeous. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with an orange shadow, and I'm gonna do the same exact thing. Gonna put that in the middle. And now finally, I'm just gonna layer on a bright pink on the outside of the eye. And this is why I kind of went crazy with the blush earlier, so that way it helps blend everything together in this area. Now that we have the shadow laid down, I'm gonna grab the shade Blueprint, which is the blue from the Create paint, and I'm gonna use that to create a graphic liner. I'm just gonna try my best to get the shape looking gorgeous and abstract, but you can really do whatever you want. By the way, you guys, I'm using a painted liner brush. All right, you guys, that is one eye all complete. We broke a lot of rules, but this is honestly looking so good so far. I'm gonna go ahead and do the one off camera quickly to get it to the same spot, and then we'll continue with the rest of the routine. Be right back. All right, we are back and both eyes are all complete. I'm actually really liking how this look is turning out so far. It's very cute. We have one more rule to break before we move on to the lashes and the rest of the look, and that is in regards to eyeliner. Now, I've never heard this before, but a lot of people actually submitted this, and I was reading a couple of articles online as well. People seem to think that you shouldn't use eyeliner in your waterline because it can cause an infection. I don't know if that's necessarily true. You guys know that I use eyeliner in my waterline all the time. Maybe they're talking about like a liquid eyeliner. Like you shouldn't use like felt tip in your waterline. I don't know if that will cause an infection, but it will definitely cause a problem. That's for sure. But we're gonna break the rule today. And I'm gonna use a little bit more of that blue Create paint that I use as a liner. And we're gonna put it in my waterline because one, they are eye safe, and two, it's gonna look cute. Okay, here we go. Ah! Ah! It's an infection. Probably not very good marketing actually to make that joke. Oh, the prettiest shade of blue. Now it's time to move on to mascara. Now when it comes to mascara, just like the rest of makeup, there are no rules of course, but I do feel like there's quite a lot of suggestions. I didn't even know this was a rule until I read your responses this morning. So I'm a little bit scared at how often and how frequently I actually break this, and that is that you should never curl your eyelashes again after applying mascara because your eyelashes can break off. What? Literally, what the fuck? How have I never heard this before? Swear to God, I do this almost every single time that I get ready. I've never broken an eyelash, but now I'm scared to. Like, hello? I didn't even realize that was a thing. I'm glad that you guys are not following that rule because I want you to keep your, beautiful lashes, but now, like, hello? You can rip your eyelashes out? Oh my God, here goes nothing. I do this because I feel like sometimes when you apply your mascara, the curl is like not as strong anymore. And I feel like by curling it again, you get a better reinforced lift to the lash. Now, sometimes, mind you, if the mascara is sticky, it does stick to the, lash curler like it is right now, which is not the most comfortable thing. Oh my God, I did rip out a lash. Make a wish. I wish that all of you get to keep your lashes. We are pretty much done with the makeup routine today. As you guys can see, we are only missing one last and final step, which of course is the lips. Now, this category I am a little bit scared for because the rule is one that I actually like to follow. The rule is that you have to choose between a bold eye or a bold lip, and you shouldn't do them both at the same time. The reason why a lot of people follow this rule is because by choosing either a crazy eye or a crazy lip, it gives somebody else kind of like a direction of where to look on your face. And a lot of times you kind of want to direct it to the eye. But of course, if you do a simple eye, you can always amp a look up by doing a bold lip color. When you do both, it can be a little bit crazy. Now, mind you, I've done hundreds of makeup looks of both crazy eyes and crazy lips, and I love them. So this is not gonna be a hard rule for me to break. And in fact, I think to really take this look up a notch, let's go ahead and do a blue lip. Why not? God, I feel like this is a commercial for my brand at this point. This was not even the intention of today's video, but I'm gonna use a little bit more of that blueprint paint to put on the lips today. The blue paint can be used as the lip color. However, I don't know if I would recommend because it makes your teeth look yellow in comparison. So that's called honest marketing right there. It worked though. All right, and on that note, we have one last and final step of this makeup routine today, and of course that is to set it all in place, and there's only one rule for setting spray, which I honestly found very funny. And that rule is when you apply your setting spray, you should only do a very light spritz. Now, bitch, you've seen the end of my YouTube videos, let's be for real, okay, I drowned myself. Now in my brain, the more setting spray you use, the longer the makeup look's gonna last. Now, is that correct scientifically? I actually don't know. I have no idea, but in my head, I like to think it is. Gorgeous. I like to literally be dripping. I'm literally not kidding. Then I like to use a little fan while it dries down, and I like to go into my powder puff and really set it in place to push that setting spray into my skin and lock it in. That's called pro artistry, baby. And on that note, that is this makeup look all complete with every single step of the routine breaking a rule along the way. Honestly, you guys, I'm obsessed with how this makeup look turned out today. I think this is the best my face has looked in quite a long time. I had a lot of fun creating the look, and honestly, almost every single makeup rule that we broke both resulted in a phenomenal end result. I'm not a big fan of the brows. I definitely will keep to doing them later on in the routine, but I might switch to doing my foundation with a dry sponge forever now because it looks so smooth. You guys know I love a cream blush layered over top. I love a good crazy makeup look even during the daytime. It's currently 3:30 p.m. and I am more than ready to go. I love drenching my face in setting spray. I don't know if I'd walk out of the house with this lip on. I probably will change it to a nude for later on tonight, but I think this makeup look turned out really good and it further proves the point that makeup truly has no rules. I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say in the comments down below. Do you like how the makeup look turned out? And are there any rules that I missed that I might need to break in a future video? Leave me a comment. If you haven't already, please give the video a big thumbs up down below. Your love and support really help out the channel quite a lot. And also, if you haven't already, make sure to click that big red subscribe button down there and come join the family, as well as the bell icon next to it so you guys get a notification every time that I upload a brand new video. If you want to follow me on my other social media accounts, my Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter are all just James Charles. And make sure you follow my new makeup brand, Painted.co, the unknowing star of today's YouTube video. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I will see you next time. Bye.